The room pulsed with the low hum of conversation, glasses clinking like distant thunder against the polished marble bar. Shadows danced from the flickering candle flames, casting elongated figures on the velvet walls of this hidden lounge tucked away in the heart of the city. He stepped in, his leather shoes silent on the thick carpet, eyes scanning the crowd with a predator's precision. There she was, across the space, laughing softly with a group of friends, her red dress clinging just enough to hint at the curves beneath, her hair cascading in waves that caught the light like polished obsidian. The scent of jasmine perfume mingled with the sharp tongue of aged whiskey in the air, creating an intoxicating haze that made every breath feel charged. But something was off. He noticed it immediately, the way her laughter didn't quite reach her eyes, how her fingers tightened around her glass when a man nearby leaned in too close, his words dripping with false charm. She shifted, a subtle retreat, her posture screaming discomfort beneath the facade of poise. The contradiction hit him like a cold draft. Here was a woman who commanded the room's attention, yet she seemed trapped in her own invisible cage, repelling advances with a smile that masked her weariness. Who was she really? An enigma wrapped in elegance, her presence pulling him in even as it pushed others away. He moved closer, not directly, but in a calculated arc, weaving through the throng of suits and sequins. The music throbbed faintly in the background, a sultry jazz riff that synced with the rhythm of hearts beating faster under the surface. As he neared, he caught snippets of her voice, crisp, intelligent, laced with a hint of sarcasm that cut through the banal chatter. "You think that's power?" she said to the man beside her, her tone playful but edged with steel. "Real power doesn't announce itself. It just takes." The man faltered, his grin fading, and in that moment, the air between them crackled with unspoken tension. What was her story? The mystery deepened as he observed her deflect another suitor with a single arched eyebrow, her lips curving into a smile that promised everything and delivered nothing. She wasn't just beautiful, she was a fortress. Walls built high from past betrayals or innate caution, her mind a labyrinth where fools got lost. Yet there he stood, drawn by the challenge, the contradiction of her allure and armor. The night air outside whispered through a cracked window, carrying the faint roar of traffic, but inside, time slowed, focused on this one unfolding drama. He ordered a drink, the bartender's nod quick and professional, the ice cubes rattling like secrets in the glass. Sipping slowly, he let his gaze linger just long enough for her to notice, then averted it, creating a void that begged to be filled. She glanced his way, curiosity flickering in her eyes like a spark in the dark. The sensory overload built the warmth of bodies pressing closer as the crowd swelled, the bitter bite of his scotch contrasting with the sweet undertone of her perfume wafting over. A contradiction in motion. She exuded confidence, yet her subtle glances revealed a hunger for something real amid the superficial. As the evening wore on, he positioned himself at the edge of her circle, not invading but orbiting. His words when he spoke measured and intriguing. "I've heard that line before," he interjected smoothly during a lull, his voice low and resonant, cutting through the noise like a knife through silk. "But power isn't in the words, it's in what you don't say." Her head turned sharply, eyes locking onto his, a mix of surprise and intrigue flashing across her features. The mystery thickened. Who was this stranger who saw through the veneer? The lounge's atmosphere grew denser, smoke from a distant cigar curling lazily upward, mingling with the aroma of fresh lilies on the tables. Her friends chattered on, oblivious, but she was hooked now, her body language shifting ever so slightly toward him. A hand brushed her arm accidentally, or was it? Sending a jolt through the air, electric and unspoken. Contradictions piled up. She laughed at his quip, but her eyes narrowed, assessing, probing for weakness. Was he a threat or a thrill? He leaned in just a fraction, his breath warm against the cool air, whispering something that made her cheeks flush faintly under the dim lights. The room faded around them, the clatter of dishes from the kitchen distant, the laughter of others a mere echo. This was the hook, the invisible thread pulling her mind toward his, bending ever so subtly without force. The night held its breath, pregnant with possibility, as the mystery of their connection unfolded in the shadows. Yet, beneath it all, a deeper contradiction simmered. She was no victim. Her responses were sharp, testing him back. Her witted weapon she wielded with grace. The sensory details sharpened the cool condensation on his glass against his palm, the faint saltiness of olives from nearby bowl, the way her necklace caught the light, drawing his eye to the pulse at her throat. Who would bend first? The question hung unspoken, fueling the intrigue. As conversations ebbed and flowed, he revealed fragments of himself, each one calculated to mirror her interests, drawing her deeper into the web. She tilted her head, listening intently, her fingers relaxing around her glass for the first time. The music swelled, a saxophone wailing soulfully, syncing with the rising tension. Mystery wrapped around them like the night's embrace. Contradictions clashing, attraction versus caution, openness versus guard. The lounge began to empty slowly, patrons drifting out into the neon-lit streets. But they remained locked in this dance of words and glances. He could feel her mind shifting, the fortress walls cracking just a hair, drawn by the enigma he presented. The air thickened with unspoken promises, the scent of rain now filtering in from outside, mixing with the lingering perfumes. This was power in its rawest form, hidden in plain sight, bending reality without a single overt move. And as the clock ticked toward midnight, the contradiction resolved into clarity. She wasn't bending to him. She was choosing to lean in, intrigued by the man who saw her depths. The sensory world sharpened the velvet texture of the booth they now shared, the warmth of her knee brushing his accidentally, the taste of victory sweet on his tongue. The mystery wasn't her alone. It was them, together in this charged space, where minds met and power shifted unseen. The city lights twinkled through the windows, casting a kaleidoscope of colors on the floor as their conversation delved deeper. She shared a story from her past, vulnerability peeking through, and he listened, his responses threading through her narrative like invisible strings. The hum of the bar faded to a whisper, the world narrowing to just this interaction, rich with potential and peril. In that moment, the hook was set firm, the allure of the unknown, the thrill of contradiction, pulling viewers, or in this case, her deeper into the narrative that was about to unfold. Now, let's peel back the layers of what really happened that night, drawing from the timeless wisdom of a master strategist whose name evokes cunning and control. Niccolo Machiavelli, the Renaissance thinker whose The Prince laid bare the mechanics of power, didn't write about romance or seduction directly, but his principles hidden in the shadows of politics and warfare translate eerily well to the battlefield of human connection, especially when it comes to navigating the intricate psychology of a woman's mind. This isn't about brute force or shallow tricks. It's about subtle domination, emotional leverage, and social tactics that bend reality to your will. Consider the first principle: appear as you wish to be seen. Machiavelli advised rulers to cultivate an image that inspires fear and love in equal measure, but never reveal the machinery behind it. In the realm of attraction, this means crafting a persona that's enigmatic yet approachable. A man who exudes confidence without arrogance. Women, wired through evolution and society to seek protectors and providers, respond to this duality. Their psychology craves stability laced with excitement, a contradiction you embody by being predictable in your strength but unpredictable in your actions. Take that lounge scene. He didn't storm in declaring his intentions. Instead, he appeared as the observer, the one who sees beyond the surface. This taps into female intuition, which is often heightened by a lifetime of reading social cues to avoid threats. By not pushing, he pulled her in, creating emotional vacuum that her curiosity filled. Psychologically, this leverages the scarcity principle, making yourself rare heightens value. Machiavelli would approve. He wrote of princes who maintained power by being seen seldom, letting absence amplify presence. But domination isn't just visual, it's emotional. Delve into the art of feigned vulnerability. Machiavelli urged leaders to simulate mercy when cruelty was needed, inverting expectations to disarm foes. Apply this to women. Share a carefully curated weakness early on a story of loss or doubt that humanizes you without diminishing your stature. This builds trust as women's empathy circuits light up, drawing them closer. Yet, it's a tactic, not truth. The goal is to create dependency, where she feels she's the one holding the reins, all while you guide the direction. Socially, this extends to her circle. Machiavelli spoke of dividing and conquering alliances. In practice, charm her friends subtly, turning them into unwitting allies who vouch for you. A compliment here, a shared laugh there suddenly, she's hearing echoes of your appeal from trusted sources, eroding her defenses. Female psychology thrives on social proof. Isolation breeds doubt, but endorsement fosters surrender. Rhythm this with immersion, conversations that probe her desires without interrogation. Ask open-ended questions that reveal her fears and dreams, mirroring them back amplified. This is Machiavellian listening, gathering intelligence to exploit later. Emotionally, it creates bonds. She feels understood, a rare commodity in a world of superficial interactions. But beware the pace. Too fast, and you trigger alarms. Too slow, and interest wanes. Fluidity is key, like a river carving stone over time. Now, layer in deception's finesse. Machiavelli championed the fox's cunning alongside the lion's strength. Lies aren't outright, they're omissions, half-truths that paint you as the hero in her story. If she's ambitious, align your narrative with hers, suggesting shared paths to power. Psychologically, women often seek partners who elevate them, so position yourself as the catalyst. Dominate by letting her think she's choosing, all while steering the outcome. Tactics evolve with context. In digital realms, apply this through delayed responses, creating anticipation that bends her mind toward obsession. Socially, at events, use positioning. Stand where she must approach, inverting pursuit dynamics. Emotionally, alternate warmth and coolness, the push-pull that addicts through dopamine spikes. Deepen the immersion. Visualize her mind as a garden, where you plant seeds of influence. Machiavelli's hidden principle here is adaptability, be water, flowing around obstacles. If she's guarded from past hurts, don't pry. Reflect her caution, building rapport through shared us versus them narratives. This fosters tribal loyalty, a psychological anchor, but power demands maintenance. Once spent, sustain through rewards and subtle corrections. Praise her uniqueness publicly, critique privately in ways that spur growth toward your vision. This is emotional domination at its peak, shaping her self-perception around your influence. Shift to advanced stratagems, the art of manufactured crisis. Machiavelli advised creating enemies to unite followers. In relationships, engineer small conflicts, perhaps a jealous rival you defeat, to position yourself as savior. Her psychology responds with gratitude, deepening bonds. Socially, this isolates her from detractors, consolidating your hold. Immerse further. Consider hormonal interplay. Women's cycles influence receptivity. Time advances during high fertility windows for maximum impact. Machiavellian, absolutely knowledge is power. Blocks 2 through 6 weave these threads into a tapestry of control. Strategy 1. The veil of virtue. Machiavelli noted that men are taken by appearances. For women, project moral high ground chivalry masking calculation. This disarms as their nurturing side engages. Psychology reveals women value emotional intelligence, feign it through active empathy, but use it to map vulnerabilities. Domination follows, withhold validation sporadically, creating craving. Tactic, the silent siege. Instead of arguments, withdraw attention, forcing her to bridge the gap. Social proof amplifies flirt harmlessly elsewhere, igniting jealousy that bends her back. Fluid narrative. Recall historical parallels. Machiavelli drew from Cesare Borgia. You draw from modern icons who wielded charm as a weapon. Immersive depth. Feel the psychological pull. The mind's bend under subtle pressure. Expand. Principle of fear over love. Machiavelli preferred fear for reliability. In seduction, instill mild insecurity, not terror, but doubt that you're irreplaceable. This dominates emotionally as she invests more to secure you. Social tactics, network infiltration, befriend her influencers, subtly undermining rivals. Psychology, women consult peers, control the console, control the mind. Rhythm intensifies, interspersed with real-world anecdotes, anonymized tales of men who apply these, transforming lives from rejection to reign. Deeper, cognitive dissonance exploitation. Present contradictions that force her to reconcile by aligning with you. Machiavellian genius bend by making resistance illogical. Immersion peaks in role reversal. Empower her superficially, letting her lead decisions you preordain. Domination veiled as equality. Now, evolving to mastery. Integrate neuro-linguistic programming subtly. Mirror her language, anchoring positive states to your presence. Machiavelli spirit words as weapons. Psychological layers, attachment styles. If anxious, provide reassurance spikes. If avoidant, give space that draws pursuit. Tactics in conflict. When challenged, deflect with humor. Turning aggression into alliance. Socially, public displays of affection, cement status, bending group dynamics, fluid progression. From initial hook to entrenched influence. Each step builds immersion, the mind yielding like clay under skilled hands. As we near the apex, synthesize. These principles aren't evil. They're tools for those bold enough to wield power ethically or not. The choice bends with intent. In the quiet aftermath of that lounging encounter, as dawn crept over the skyline, she found herself replaying his words, his touch, his gaze. Transformation had begun, not forced, but inevitable. Her mind reshaped by principles older than time. Power, once abstract, now pulsed in her veins, tied to him. This is the essence, bending not to break, but to forge something unbreakable. You've journeyed through the shadows of strategy, psychology, domination, and tactics, emerging with keys to realms unspoken. If this resonated, hit that subscribe button now and unlock more hidden truths. Like if you felt the pull of power, comment your biggest takeaway and share with someone ready to level up. Your action fuels the fire. Let's bend the world together.